welcome to the greatest show on earth. My name is Kimberly Sanders, and I have the honor tonight of bringing some of the most precious earth angels, earth guardians, wellness warriors to share our hearts and be here introducing some of the greatest blessings that have blessed our lives so that we can bless your lives. And tonight I have my dear friend John Rhodes on the call with us and my precious Barbara. We're here because we have linked arms with a company called Purium, and that is a made-up word, pure and premium married together, and that is what we are thriving on. We are living on live, dehydrated, beyond organic superfoods. And tonight we wanted to share a few stories and just our heart in the knowing that I'm just so honored that I get to be here, first of all, and have a team, a fleet of all these amazing people. Because of these organic superfoods, they have cellularly activated us to a point where we get to share with every single person that we meet. And I'm just so honored to have you here tonight. And I really wish to just kind of round robin tonight. We had some fun ideas going on. And so my first wish is to have dear John Rhodes come in and just share a piece of your story and just how these organic superfoods and this company and this community has offered some really all the goodness that it has. John has a really amazing story, and and then go ahead and introduce my dear Barbara. She has an amazing story. She's been with me now for over 4 years, and just saving lives left and right. It's so amazing.
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, I think the thing that's on my mind today that I want to share about is inflammation. It's one of those buzzwords that you can hear when you start exploring health and how to become healthy. And one of the things that I have experienced over a longer period of time now is a lot of inflammation in my body, and how that really impacts me and makes me feel unwell. And while I know that that process started probably sometime in my 20s when I started becoming much more aware of it, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes around my 30th birthday, which was now about 14 years ago. And since that time, I've been through a number of different dietary regimens and trying different things in an attempt to recover a feeling of being well or feeling healthy, feeling good in my body, which truly became very, very difficult. And I tried a lot of things. Some things worked, a lot of things didn't. And the things that worked, I could only maintain them for short periods of time. Whether the dietary regimen was too extreme or maintaining a 9-to-5 job was really impossible while doing the exercise type of routines that I needed to do, and self-care things like doing yoga every day or sitting in my homemade near infrared sauna, which I know getting into that level of doing things can sound a little bit out there. There's just not enough time in the day to do a full job and take care of your body to the level that we really need to in today's environment, with our food system as it is, and with the number of toxins that we're exposed to on a daily basis. So when I started using these superfoods, I was really, really happily surprised to discover that not only had I discovered a solution that was sustainable, meaning I could just keep doing this all day, every day, because it's, first of all, so convenient. It's shipped to my doorstep. It takes me less than 5 minutes to prepare one of my meal replacement shakes. But I also discovered that within 45 days, I got a blood work test done, and some of the health markers in my experience went drastically down. I carried total cholesterol between 240 and 260 for pretty much ever since I got diagnosed with this disease. And no matter what I did dietarily, those numbers didn't budge, which kind of told me that it was less about my diet and more about something else. And that's when I began to look more deeply into how inflammation affects our health. And in just 45 days, taking the Biomedic pills and flooding my body with superfood nutrients, my total cholesterol went down 100 points to 162 and is now in an optimal range, which is really pretty incredible to consider that it only took me 45 days with these foods. So I'm also very happy to be engaging in sharing this with other people as my 9 to 5, which doesn't even come close to 9 to 5. It's like I have all of the freedom that I want to be where I want to be when I want to be there. And I'm also generating income by sharing this incredible opportunity with other people. So I couldn't be happier to be a part of this. And I feel like it's allowing me to step into something that is so meaningful and impacting other people's lives. I just looked in my back office and I've been, I'm not even into my 3rd month yet of doing this work, and there's already been more than 24 people who have been impacted by my work. Not just that I've impacted their health, but the people who are joining me in this mission are also sharing with other people. And so I'm perhaps for the first time in my life experiencing an exponential impact on the world. And that feels pretty fantastic. So I can't say enough great stuff about this company and these amazing foods, but I'd love to introduce one of the new friends that I've gotten to make, at least virtually yet, through this superfoods company and on Kimberly's team, who I know is going to share some drops of wisdom and the brightness in her journey. And I'm really excited to hear more about it because I feel like I haven't heard enough yet. So without further ado, this is Barbara. She's an incredible woman who's doing incredible things, and I can't wait to hear about your story, Barbara. So please lay it out there for us all to benefit from.
Yes, thank you, John. Thank you so much. And I just want to say how much I do appreciate John's journey and everything that he's experienced. I came into Purium as my mother was a diabetic, and I cared for her through hospice. She had had a kidney transplant 20 years prior, and her body was really just starting to deteriorate. And we knew that she was on her way out, but we were having trouble finding foods that she could keep down. She was taking at least 30 medications 2 to 3 times a day, each one, on top of her insulin. And I was testing her 2 to 3 times a day for her blood pressure and her blood sugar and everything, and her oxygen levels. It was the only food that she was able to keep down. Kimberly, I got connected with Kimberly through my sister. They know each other through other avenues. And Kimberly came over and she just had this hodgepodge of different things for my mom to try. And it really excited me because, I mean, my mom would maybe have like a bagel for breakfast and then some snacks throughout the day, you know, like some Cheez-Its or some kind of thing. And then just whatever dinner I could throw together. I'm a single mom. At the time I had 2 teenage boys still in the house. I was working as a nanny at the time as well. And so it was a lot to maintain, and I didn't have a lot of time to feed her the way that I wanted to. When you're caring for somebody, whether it's a parent, whether it's a loved one, you know, a husband or a wife, or even your children, you really want to give them the best. You want to give them the absolute best thing that you can. And when you're not able to do that, kind of going to the grocery store. I've been on food stamps for a long time at the time, and you just feel like you're not giving them enough. And this was like the answer to my prayers. It just like walked through my door, and I started giving it to her, and she was able to take it, and she was able to have energy to get up out of the bed and take herself to the bathroom again. And it gave her, I would say, like another year and a half on her life that she was spending with her grandkids, that she was spending with me, that she was experiencing the world. And there's nothing greater than the gift of giving health to the people that you love and the people that you care about. And I have a lot of people that I talk to initially, especially if they don't know my story about the MLMs and about this fear about that whole thing. And I just immediately have to help them like dissipate this like limiting self-belief, because these products are literally miraculous what they're able to do for people that you care about. And I've helped a few friends now, people with autoimmune disorders, people that are having serious issues with their gut. My friend just had to have her gallbladder removed. She's having numbness in her arm. And she's like, what you have is exactly what my doctor told me that I need. I need super pure, super clean foods that are going to balance my gut microbiome. Gut microbiome is like a buzzword right now, but it is literally going to revolutionize health in our country, because it is a personalized way to balance your specific microbiome based off of the symptoms that you are having. And so jump forward like 3 years, right after my mom passes, the pandemic starts. And I'm looking at my own health and I'm thinking, I should be doing this for myself. I mean, I was doing all this for her, and I was like, I really should do this for myself. I got like one of my pandemic checks or whatever. And there's just like no going back ever since I started taking it. I was having blood in my stool. I was having severe anxiety, depression. I have PTSD. I was dealing with a lot of situations with my 2 teenage boys. And then, of course, losing my mom in the pandemic. I mean, everybody's nervous system has just been firing, And I started eating these foods, and my clarity of thought came back. And I was able to come up with a plan. I'm going to start selling these foods too. Like, what a better way to create some little side income for myself while I decided to go back to school for physical therapy. So I'm still nannying. I'm going back to school for physical therapy, and I'm selling Purium as a way to kind of build up people that I can welcome into my practice when I start to do physical therapy. I'm really interested in the ways that physical therapy and psychotherapy intersect. So for me, I think the most significant impact that these foods have had is the effect that it's had on my mental health. I'm not suffering from my alcoholism. I've stopped smoking weed. I'm able to deal with the problems in my life that come up with more ease and more calm. And therefore, I'm more successful dealing with those things. And I really am able to experience in my journey the connection between the foods that you're eating, how that's making you feel, and then the direct effect that that has on you and the loved ones around you, the ways that you're able to achieve your goals, the ways that you're able to dream and envision your future and reimagine things for yourself. When your nervous system calms after years and years of tension, it is just such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And I can't thank Purium and thank Kimberly Sanders more for the experience that I've been able to have. And it makes me like cry a little bit because I'm just so thankful. And to be able to help the other people that I'm now able to help have that same experience. Each one teach one, you guys. Each one teach one. Get it out there. Experience it for yourself, and please share it with someone else who can have that same impact and that same beautiful experience. I think that sums up where I'm at right now. So thank you for listening, and yes, back to you guys.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for sharing about your story with your mother and your own personal experience. I can't think of something that is more valuable today than our mental health, our emotional well-being, and to understand that the way that we've been approaching those issues in our society, it's not solving these problems. You know, sometimes we're able to intervene in a serious condition and get some really important help through the pharmaceuticals or whatever it is that we're able to do. But it sets up this system where we become dependent on relying on drugs, or in many cases our own self-soothing methods that we're able to come up with on our own, that really aren't doing us any favors. You know, whether it's alcoholism or relying on some other type of substance to allow us to feel okay to be here in this world. To me, when I think about a world that we want to build, this is just not okay, that this is the way things are.
Absolutely. And if I can just add, kind of like
Please.
add on to what you're saying, I've had a really deep experience here in the last couple weeks because I have a new roommate that works really close with the homeless community in Denver, and she brings them food. And it just kind of highlights, I mean, it really puts under a microscope this issue. People are not only without food, but people are provided with food that is not substantial enough to maintain their mental health. And not only is it just not what they're provided, we have the media out here and we have these large corporations in the Food and Drug Administration advertising to us these foods, the alcohol, the marijuana, it's all these things. And we just kind of learn to accept it as the norm. And this community of people just coming into these rooms and coming into these chats and being able to connect on a human level, on a person to person level. You know, I've been following Deepak Chopra, who is a leader in our country, somebody who brought Ayurveda into this country. He actually got his own doctorate in Western medicine, but also is an absolute master of Ayurveda and Eastern medicine. And he's really merged the two in a way he understands both. And for me, just to know that we have leaders like that and people like Dave Sandoval, who started Purium. I mean, if you read his book, The Green Food Bible, I mean, he's been talking about this for decades, you know, and of course, Ayurveda has been around for centuries, and food as medicine goes back as far as mankind. We watched animals eat foods and we observed what foods could help us based off what it did with animals. And so we need to really think about how we're approaching treating our bodies and how we're approaching healing ourselves, and looking to different kind of root indigenous wisdom that we find through foods. And that's what Dave Sandoval did. And that's what these leaders are doing. And that's what Purium as a company is doing. And it's backed by scientific research. So there's literally research on the website that you can look at. There's battle plans for specific things. I ran into a woman today at the Botanical Gardens and overheard her talking about her MS and how they don't really suggest any specific diet at the doctor. And I immediately walked up and said, can I just interject? I really want to share something with you. And so I sent her the email today. I'm just waiting to hear back from her. But how cool, just a chance encounter that this company and these leaders are providing us with the knowledge to do this for our communities. It's an amazing, amazing thing.
I think one of the most powerful things that you're speaking to right now, Barbara, is what this food gives us the capacity to do in our lives to impact the suffering of others. And, you know, from the start of what you shared today, Barbara, it's really, I can see that that is a huge aspect of your mission, your purpose, what you're doing here. And when we are in a compromised state physically, when our emotional health is not doing well, when our mental health is not doing well, guess what we can't do? Really help anyone other than ourselves. And sometimes we can't even help ourselves from those positions. And when we get this food and we put it into our bodies, all of a sudden we're giving our bodies the help that it's always needed. And you know, you brought up Ayurveda as this system of achieving well-being in the body based on the different energies. And yes, it's been around for a very, very long time, but something that we've never faced before, and that I'm not entirely certain that these ancient systems are suited to help us with, is the chemical glyphosate, which is what is contributing to some of these problems, the increase of some of these problems. Mental health has kind of gone down the drain in this country over the last 25 years. And the numbers of people who are needing to use pharmaceutical support in order to, you know, prevent suicide or feel okay, treat their depression, it's going up at an exponential rate. And I think in some of Dave Sandoval's research, he shows how the increase in the use of this chemical in our food system is a direct correlation to this ballooning of mental health crisis in our country.
Absolutely. I want to add, just because you made me think about the dear children that I nanny. These families typically that hire me, because I've taught in the public school system for 10 years. I'm really well educated in childhood development and all these things. So I do tend to get hired by families that are quite wealthy, that can afford what I charge. And I walk into their homes and they are feeding their kids Cheerios, General Mills Cheerios, which is loaded with glyphosate, you know, non-organic produce. And I plead with them, let me introduce you to these products, knowing full well that they have plenty of money to be giving this to their toddler children. And they just don't go. I mean, they won't open up to it. It's the most, I just can't, it's a huge conundrum for me. They even will come to me and ask me questions about dietary things, ask me questions about what yoga classes to take, or where, you know, in my health coaching stuff, but will not do it. It's just really, I think we've become so complacent. It's just so easy to just follow the guidelines. And it is up to us. It really is up to us as people that have the knowledge to carry this information forward and share it with people. But even then, there's people that are just not open, you know? So learning to find the people that are open and just build the community, just get it out there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I would say that taking on this challenge is definitely, it's not really something for the faint-hearted, but what this food allows us to experience in our bodies, in our well-being, and overall in our kind of the vibration that it produces inside of us, it can give us that level of commitment to make an impact, not only in our own lives, but to share that impact with others. And for so many people, sharing about what is of most value to themselves is one of the biggest challenges that we can take on in our lives. And I can share specifically that Purium allowed me to step through one of those blocks in my own life that is allowing me to step into thriving and freedom and well-being and passion and all of the things that pretty much is universal from a human standpoint of being able to realize a deeper truth for why we're here. So you know, for anybody who's watching this and considering what it might be like to take the plunge, I mean, this is a truly a movement of transforming the world as it exists today. The world that we have been taught to believe and how it functions doesn't have to be that way. And, you know, we don't have to spend 10 years studying Ayurveda to master it, because it does take an incredibly deep understanding of these systems to be able to get to the level of health that I experienced within literally the first 4 days of trying these foods. And I didn't have to know anything about what I was putting in. Now, sure, I've done lots of research in the past, so I understand why it's working the way it does in my body, but I didn't have to know any of it. All I had to do was be willing to take the first sip and to continue doing it day after day, which honestly, that inner motivation, I didn't have to conjure that up from anywhere. It's just natural, you know, like, I'm feeling this good. I want to keep feeling this good. And I know I never have to turn around and end it. So, I mean,
Absolutely. The journey just continues. It's a never ending transformation. It's like I did my first 30 days and everybody was commenting, you know, your skin and your hair and everything is, you know, and I just kept getting those comments. And I was like, wow, because I've had a lot of skin issues. When I was a teenager, I had a horrible acne. And it's been a struggle for me for a while, and hormonally, just ups and downs, you know. But my hair, my skin was like the first thing. My digestion immediately, like within the next like 30 days, no more blood in my stool. My poops are like the smoothest, like best consistency poops I've ever had, which to me is huge. No bloating, you know, when I stick to the instructions that come with the kit, I always have just like really, my body feels great. My pelvic girdle, guys, my pelvis, I've had 2 children that I carried, and my pelvis never has really felt like stitched back together. It always felt kind of like off and a little bit out of place. And I think it's the aminos, the super aminos that, you know, they were created for people that were in a coma so that they could maintain their muscle mass. And I have felt my pelvic girdle, all the muscles in my lower pelvic region knit back together and have a certain strength that I have not had since before I had children. And I was training 6 to 7 hours a day in dance after I had kids for several years, teaching 7 classes a day, running a dance program, choreographing, doing all this. And still my pelvis didn't feel right. And so for me now, to be able to have that kind of healing and like that kind of what feels to me like repair in my musculoskeletal system is forever life changing. And the transformations just continue. I mean, it's just ongoing. My teeth, my gum health that I've struggled with for years. I'm not having sensitivity in my gums. I'm just going to continue to document. I mean, it just keeps going. So stay tuned.
It's absolutely incredible what our bodies will do when they're given the tools that they need. And Barbara, you're a living example of the Purium glow, as I now call it, which literally takes people between 10 to 14 days once they're on this transformation to start seeing coming right off of their face. And it's truly incredible. And literally everybody who comes on these calls, I just get on this Brady Bunch call and I'm looking at everybody who's doing this and I'm like, oh my God, where did all these beautiful people come from? Because, you know, you walk around outside and you see a lot of people in a lot of different states of well-being, but you never see just like 100% of them on these calls. Everybody's got the glow and it's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So
yeah,
I mean, you're
nutrified, fully nutrified. All the nutrients, you know, it's like I'm learning right now in my anatomy and physiology class about how all the cells you know, have that potential from the stem cell level to regenerate. And I think it's like every 60 days. I can't remember the exact number, but you really feel that happen in your body. You feel it from the inside out. A lot of people will spend a lot of money to go get a facial, go get their makeup done, they go get the lashes, and kudos to that. Like, please adorn yourself, like, be beautiful. However, when you do it from the inside out, you feel it. You know what I mean? You're not making yourself look beautiful. You are becoming whole, and there's just no better way to find that beauty in life, to feel good and to feel pure.
Incredibly powerful, Barbara. It's so wonderful to have you here and share your story as this incredible example of the power that this food has to not only change your own life, but to change other people's lives. So, Kim, would you like to close us out today and get us ready for our next time?
So I just want to thank everyone. And Barbara, thank you for sharing your heart and being this example for your community, for everyone that's watching this replay. John, the heart-based capability of your listening and your feeding back the information to everyone is just, it's unprecedented. And I am just deeply honored and humbled to share that this is some of my team, and these are the people that we get to link arms with, and the hearts and the desire to make change happen because of our example, living this lifestyle, being able to fearlessly go out there and just share it with every single person. And you're definitely one of them that we would love to have, that we would love to witness you becoming the greatest version of yourself. Like, I am so blessed to get to see all of these beautiful people, this Brady Bunch of people just transforming right in front of our eyes. So if anything that you heard tonight, whoever is sharing this replay with you, please get back to them, because they have $100 gift card code for you and the ability for you to step fully into your own sovereignty and into your own power, and to remove all the toxins and take the biggest breath that we've ever taken on mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and financial. So thank you all so much. And thank you, Barbara, and thank you, John, and thank you all for being here tonight. Love
Thank
you all
you,
so
everybody.
much.
So nice to see you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Whoop, whoop.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know how to stop recording. There.
I welcome